Hi guys, welcome back to episode 4, season 3 of the MKAU show. Today we have our newbie Bigfoot.
Did
Noob.
you just say
And the
season
Bigfoot.
3 episode? What did you just say then?
Season 3, episode 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll cross-reference this.
Just checking. I
okay?
thought it was the other way around just then.
No. We have Brashy again.
There you go.
We have Fletch.
Evening.
I'm like pointing, but it always changes. And we have our boss Sub-Zero.
Hey, what's up?
So we're just gonna go through some of the news this week, things that we thought are super important, super interesting. This one's more of a personal one. I chucked this in because this was like one of my favorite games last year. So they've announced a Ghost of Tsushima movie, and it's supposed to be directed by the same guy that directed John Wick. So what do we feel about games turning into movies? I think it's a good movie to turn into a good game to turn into a movie.
It's got really good source material. I mean, it's grounded on history, not 100% accurate, but
Yeah.
it will definitely make a good movie.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching like 47 Ronin on Netflix. And that was like a movie that bombed at the box office, but apparently it's been popping on Netflix, so there is a bit of a market for that. That's
47
samurai.
Ronin wasn't actually too bad, eh?
Well, I've never seen it actually.
That was Keanu
Was
Reeves,
it?
wasn't it?
Yeah, Keanu Reeves and
Yeah.
like all the mythical fucking creatures, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I enjoyed
Well,
it.
it's based on a true Japanese. This is why it bombed, because it's based on a true event, and then they twisted dragons and witches and all this magic through the story.
That's what
but,
sells at box office, doesn't it? Apparently not.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about movies, game movies in general? They're very hit and miss, right?
Mostly
Yeah,
miss.
They're good or they're not.
Some are like awesome and some just terrible. Like I watched the Sonic movie and that was pretty good.
Yeah. Does anyone
Yeah,
have any
I
favorite
would-
game movies?
Oh, it's got to be Mario.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
That hurt my soul.
Yeah.
That was the most
Okay.
outlandish movie I've ever seen that you could pass off as like a Mad Max spin-off almost. That was really whack.
Oh, I reckon. Like John
Mario.
Leguizamo was there. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yes, this will be awesome. He's funny as, and then just nah.
Yeah.
This is
And did the complete opposite of everything that was Mario.
I think that like that if that's the director they're going with, he's a good choice because he was really into stunt work. Like he was a stuntman himself.
Mhm.
So you want him leading an action movie, and hopefully he'll be faithful and gets people in there that can put some really good choreography out there. I mean, I just think everyone loves a good samurai film.
Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
think if
true.
there's lots of action, it'll be fine. Did any of you guys actually play Ghosts?
Yep.
Yep.
I
Yep.
watched streams of it. I don't have
Yeah.
PlayStation.
The content is very dry because it's very feudal Japan. Like very much, follows like it's very historical. It's not like much. I don't think there's any magical elements to it at all. So it's gonna need a really good script.
Not really.
Did anyone play it in the black and white version?
No.
I did for a little bit just to have a look.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like they wanted to do that to pay homage to some of the old samurai films that they used to pump out, but I'm wondering if they make the film whether they will go down that road in particular, like to start with that genre, or
That'd be
make-
pretty cool. Some elements of black
yeah,
and
like
white.
make an alternate cut of it, I guess. But when was the last time you saw a black and white movie that was made directly for black and white?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
true.
the last one that did really well was The
And then-
Artist back in
And
2000.
nowadays they'd be able to make it because of black and white back in the day, like some parts like they couldn't get the lighting quite right or anything like that. But now
Mhm.
they should be able to like get it quite spot on so it looks really good as well.
Yeah.
But
I think
pretty
one of the greatest
interesting.
things about it is the fact that motion capture these days, a lot of the actors that they get for these video games are actually actors and
Mm.
could just pick up the role immediately. Like, he could make a straight transition straight to the movie. And you've already got the actor that, so you don't have to try and worry about casting the correct character.
Yeah, because they could get the mocap actor for I can't remember his name now. The main character for Ghost of Tsushima
Mm.
to play it
Don't-
because
Don't they
That's
also-
what I'm thinking of. He's been in a fair few movies.
Don't they also do the voice too? The mocap guy? It's the
Yeah.
same guy, isn't it?
Yep, they're trying to
They do
they're
a
trying to
lot.
lean that way mostly. Like obviously, there's some characters in there again that probably don't look like their characters, but the main character himself was just a one-to-one. That's his face. That's his voice. That's
Yeah.
him.
That'd be amazing if they did get the mocap guy in.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember who the actor is who plays him, but he's been in heaps of movies.
And he did say that he was all in for butt nudity because that pops up a lot in that game. Whatever
Oh yeah, it does too when he goes into the springs.
Yeah, so I was
He's
like,
right.
yeah, he's on. Like, he's the perfect pick for it. Why would you go past that?
Oh yeah.
You've caught
'Cause
big...
I reckon the worst thing they could do, I think the worst thing they do with game movies is they change characters, especially like main characters. So they look nothing like the actual character from the game, and everyone's like always like, oh, it's because we want to add more diversity to the movie. But it's not the game though.
There's a lot of games that
Like
would
no one
make
cares
it
that.
hard
Like
to do
as long
that
as it
too,
looks
though.
like the game and it's faithful to the game, it's going to make money. If you
Yeah.
start changing a whole bunch of shit, then no one's going to like it.
Mm.
I guess
Characters like say Master Chief and stuff, they would be really hard to, get an actor to play because so many people have in their mind what he looks like behind his helmet.
True.
I think for the live action Halo stuff that they're about to bring out, the guy that they've got said he's not going to bother try and replicate the voice because Halo, I think actually the lady that plays Jen Taylor, she plays Cortana. She's going to doing the voice for Cortana, but the guy that's playing Master Chief, they want to actually have his helmet off, so they want him to be able to just do that instead of if he had his helmet on the whole time, you could just get
the voice
Steve
actor to
Downs in to just do the voice straight away. That'd be easy
Yep.
fix. But since he's going to take his helmet off, he kind of has to make it his own. He just said, "Oh, I'm not going to be trying to do the voice," which would be interesting.
Honestly,
Man.
don't think that they should take his helmet off. Like in the games, he never takes his helmet off. So
Yeah. But then they might end up with the whole Mandalorian thing where Pedro Pascal wanted to have the helmet off more and get more screen time.
Yep.
Crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, I think it'll be a good movie, hopefully.
Do you think it'd be
Hopefully,
a
I
good, better movie or a better TV series?
It would be an awesome TV series.
It would be
Holy
a
crap.
TV
You
series.
could do it like so Games of Thronesy, like really violent because it's samurai. It's like
Yeah.
if they PG it down with no blood, it's just gonna be lame. You know?
Well, I reckon that's a good thing why they got the John Wick guy in there because
yeah,
he's not going to leave any of the blood or gore out.
Yep.
Yeah, you'd hope, right?
and I mean the John Wick movies were bloody brutal as. So
Mm.
Oh yeah.
and having that director behind it, you can expect it to be brutal and just he's pumped out some really good movies. So
I mean,
So
it
what
could
are
even
the
be like
finishing
John Wick
moves?
itself because
Yeah.
John Wick was like what 3 movies already done, another 3 in production. Make it
Samurai
just-
John Wick, mate, going down the
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed path.
Hmm.
That'd be cool.
That was a shit movie.
That's just
I
the-
didn't mind it. I actually enjoyed it.
Oh yeah. For me, it was some parts were good and some parts were just
Yeah, some parts weren't great.
I think that's the problem. Movies they
Overall.
try to jam too much in. TV series may work better for
Is the
games
way to
because
go.
there's
Hmm.
they jam
Because
it.
games go for like at least
Yeah.
8-10 hours, and trying to jam that much content.
I think
into
that's why they're
into
shit.
2
They're all over the
hours,
place. It's because they are trying a little bit too hard.
It'll be interesting the Last of Us TV show when that comes out.
With Pedro Pascal in it. Oh no, yeah,
Yeah.
that's him. Yeah.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's
The
playing Joel.
Mandalorian's
isn't
now going to be Joel as well.
I love him.
He's got his thumb in
Ah,
every pie at the moment.
Hmm.
He does. He does. He's like the it man at the moment.
He likes his pie, Bigfoot. Leave him alone.
Nothing wrong with good mince and cheese
Uh,
pie, mate.
But it'll be interesting how that goes because that's a TV show that they're basing off the game, and that's probably the one that's going to be out more recent than anything else. So
TV shows the way to go. I think Fletch hit the nail on the head with that. All right, let's move on. So our glorious E3 has been announced for June 15th to 17th. Are the approximate dates, the placeholder dates. However, all over Twitter, there was articles everywhere saying they were actually trying to be really sneaky and make it a paid event. However, they caved after lots of backlash online from not only the community but also developers. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
So is this a paid online event?
They were going to make it. They were going to make it a paid online event. There
From
was
what
like leaked documents from Otaku saying they were going to make it, and then backlash, and now they've gone, no, it's a free online event now.
From
So
what I
do you guys
read,
feel?
I read that only certain parts of it were going to be paid
Yeah.
to access. Like there was a paywall behind accessing demos and all that sort of stuff. Which
Hmm.
I mean, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. It can create a lot of like hype around it. Like not many people will be able to play it and everything. It's a good way for the company to make money, even though they don't need
Exclusiveness.
to make money, exclusiveness and everything. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a bit of a dog move, really.
I think it's a bit of a dog move. Because the end
It
of the
should
day,
be. It should be for the gamers,
yeah, the success of the game is from the community.
definitely.
But I mean, if they're offering you demos of games, that's what
And
you
you can.
that's
and
what
you
you're
can
paying. That's
pay,
what you're
like-
paying for a ticket for to go. Really, anyways, to check out or hands-on with games.
Yeah, but do you think the public should be condemned for this current situation?
I'm just saying that if they're giving you games to demo, that you shouldn't be playing yet. What's wrong with the online ticket to do
I don't
that? It's the
know,
same
that's why we're
thing.
here to discuss it.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I
If
think-
if that's what you're paying for a ticket for, then I don't see any problem with that part.
Yeah, like,
I mean, like
they're gonna
E3
make a
last
little
year
bit of
fell
money,
apart.
like,
I think this is
what
the
this
first
world's
year
all
that
about,
they've had some of the bigger developers come back. I know Sony's still holding out and they want to have their own thing on the same week still. But
Yep.
like for
No
years, it looked
Sony.
like everyone was falling apart to see there was going to be no E3 at all. So maybe they're
Yeah.
just quite scrambling because it's the first time they've got a lot of the people back on board for it to be an official E3 presentation rather than just a show during E3 week.
Mm.
So, yeah, I guess all these companies really depends on whether they're paying to be there or whether they're getting paid to turn up. So that might be why E3's people putting it together want to reimburse themselves, but
Yeah.
I think it sucks. That's one. That's like being in Australia. It always comes on at like what 2 a.m. for us.
Yeah.
So I used to always get
I
up.
always
At,
watch it the next day.
yeah, no, I used
the
to like
highlights
getting
on
up watching
YouTube.
the live stream and then going to work feeling
was
like
gonna say that.
I'm pass out. But
I was gonna say that Bigfoot anyway. For tight asses like us, someone would
Yeah.
put it on the internet for us to watch anyway.
That's what I used to do. Get home from work, just chuck on like the Xbox highlights or the Nintendo
Yep.
highlights and
Yep.
watch them cooking dinner.
And Subby would like post. Subby was really good. Like during the day, he'd
Uh,
post like what
Usually,
game trailers would come out.
E3 for
and I
me
would
is
go
a
anyway.
is a nightmare, dude. Like it's too much work involved.
Like, cause he gets all the press releases, so
They
it was
just
like,
come in every
game's been
5
announced,"
minutes.
and-
yeah,
You literally got to take a day off work because it's a full-time job during that week.
Yeah, the Twitter is alive with updates of what's hot off the press. Or Ubisoft, what are they? Ubisoft, Capcom, Konami, Xbox, they're all going to be there. Like Fletch said, PlayStation the only one that said no, they're going to bounce on this one.
When is it? When did you say it was?
June 15th to the 17th. Yeah.
I guess
Okay.
being online, if you make it like a paid gateway to get in it, there's just going to be a lot of people. They're going to start illegally streaming it to like the public. People pay for that, and then they go through the lawsuits, and then they've got to pay all these extra people to monitor IPs and try and take down streams and stuff.
Yeah, I don't reckon it'll be pay to view it. I reckon it'll be just pay to access, maybe bonus stuff like the games, because I know what goes in. I know what's involved behind the scenes trying to get someone private access to a game, and it's a bit annoying. So I think it'll be just like, for an extra such and such, you can play these early. Have your hands on for 2 hours. I don't know.
Visit this website to get pay for your free ticket to play the game.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping the servers don't overload and crap
Oh
out
my
like
God, can
all
you
the other
imagine?
servers do.
Oh, that would be horrible.
It'll be a problem for sure.
E3 is one of my favorite times of year. It's like you curl up on the couch, Like it's normally starting to cool down in Australia, and I'd sit there for 3 hours and just watch it from start to end. You know,
It's like a
it's one of
gamer's
those.
Christmas.
It is like it
Pretty
is.
much.
It's something we get excited for. So it would have been horrible if they were going to try and put it behind a paywall. But like Bigfoot said, I think it is just for the demos and
It'll have to be.
exclusives and stuff. If they were going to put gameplay footage behind a paywall and stuff,
It wouldn't matter. People just wait for the trailer to pop up on the YouTube channels.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
matter. People won't pay for that.
Or someone that got paid access will just chuck it straight on YouTube.
yeah,
You just watch it on
I'll have
YouTube.
them all in my inbox anyway, so I don't care.
the true hero, the true hero. All right, so last week we talked about Outriders going straight to Game Pass and how we felt about that. Now Outriders is actually out now, and we've all played it except Bigfoot's played the demo. But we're talking about that prior to the podcast. He probably had the best experience out of all of us.
Yeah, I'd like to hear Bigfoot first on his
Yeah.
demo experience.
How did you feel about the demo, and then we'll go into
Oh.
the actual game.
The demo was great. It was real grindy though, trying to get those legendaries. But I think they made it hard to get legendaries on it to make you want to play it more.
Yeah.
I was pretty gutted when I loaded up Game Pass on the PC to see that it wasn't on PC Game Pass because I was ready to play it on launch, so that was
Yeah.
a bit of a bummer. But yeah, from watching Subby and
He's
Did you
frozen.
cut out?
Frozen Red Knight, yeah.
It's always
Oh.
one. It's always one.
There's always one. At least he's smiling in it. Look.
Should have paid for the demo.
I
Wouldn't
should
have
have
happened.
paid for the demo. That's because he was talking crap on it. Yeah, he watched us play it quite a bit. So anyway, we'll move on. How do you feel? We'll go Sub because he's done. Oh, Sub and Fletcher, but you've all actually grinded really hard. Whoever wants to jump in first.
You go, Fletcher.
You go first.
Well, like, I think the big shiny thing is who wants to play it and who actually can get into it and stay into the game. This
That is
has
the
been a
point.
really bad launch for their servers. Not to say that it wasn't 100% expected, like having a rocky launch being launched over Easter weekend when the entire world has taken 4-day weekend. Hasn't really got much better since then. Like gameplay wise, it's great, but I think the latest update that they did yesterday, it's actually bugging out and deleting people's full inventories.
Mm.
So now people are even scared to play it today. There was a couple of YouTubers and streamers that just posted, "Oh, I'm not going to bother jumping on today in fear of losing my character."
Yeah. Well, my boyfriend lost all his anomaly levels and is right back at 0.
Wow.
Yeah. Didn't lose his character like our friend Red Gray's lost his whole level 23 character.
Mm.
But he lost all his anomaly levels. So that's
No,
irritating.
great game, and I'm really glad I didn't overdo it in the demo because it's pretty much exactly what that is. It's just a repeated grind, like you're attacking the same areas over and over again. Especially when you get later in the game if you start dying a lot. But I think it's like a
Oh, he's back.
I think it's more of like a Diablo experience, really. Diablo,
Yeah.
like just dungeon crawler, like small areas. You go in there, get loot, leave, upgrade. Like after every single mission, I was going back to the camp just to break down my gear and start making a whole new set to go back in there. It's
Yeah.
really cool, but
Yeah.
then I keep getting disconnected.
What about you, Brush?
Wait, before we move on
See-
though, what do you, if you were to review it now, Fletch, what would you give it in its current state?
Score. Current state.
Taking
Current
out,
state.
yeah,
We'll go
taking
round and
out
ask you
server
first.
side of things
No,
I'll give it a-
including
No,
every-
no. How are you
Including-
would review it now with the issues? With the few issues
with
it's having?
issues.
Yeah, like taking into account the game and how you're
Yeah.
enjoying it, but also
7.
7.
Mhm.
Interesting.
I'd-
Alright, go Brush. Your turn.
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. I played solo a lot.
Yeah.
So I had really no issues until I started playing with people.
Yep.
Like I think I got through the whole entire game just about without any real problems. It's only when I started joining other people that I started having problems. The only issue I think I had on the PlayStation was the actual signing in at the very start. If I was playing like another game beforehand or watching a movie or on Netflix or something beforehand, and then try jumping into the game, it gets to the sign in part, and then it'd just sit there on the sign-in part, and then I'd just have to restart the PlayStation, and then I'd get straight in afterwards. But other than that, I had nothing, no issues at all until I started playing with everyone else. But
You
I
get it.
really enjoyed it. But playing by yourself again, it comes with its own issues of like the world scaling. Like if I had to drop my world level a couple of times just to get through some of the areas by myself. But and that affected my world tier overall at the end of the game. But yeah, like it was better playing with other people. Harder.
Yeah. What score would you
But
give it
yeah.
out of 10, current state?
Current state. I'd have to sort of refresh, and I was actually going to go somewhere like 7, 8. I really enjoyed the game, and the only issues I had was with playing with other people, but I played the whole game by myself pretty much. So yeah.
Sub?
If
So
you're
what
mainly
did you say?
multiplayer-
What did you say you'll give it as it is?
She said 7 or 8.
Really? As it is?
Yeah, I had no issues unless I was playing with someone else.
Yeah, right. Look, I enjoyed the game. When it's working, I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, especially all the abilities and stuff are way more fun to use than, say, playing... Like, Destiny's a more polished game, but... I don't know, they're playing with all the abilities and all the gunplay that it has to offer. Outriders can be fun, but... It's just a bastard to get anyone to join you.
Mhm.
Like Fletcher couldn't join the other night after so many times, and then Brashy wouldn't be able to join for so many times. It's just spent half an
Yeah.
hour just trying to get 2 people connected.
That was a whole hour affair, me trying to join your game.
Yeah, it
Oh,
took nearly
Jesus.
an hour at some point. Restarting consoles, restarting games, everyone restart consoles. And then when
Is
you
that a server issue or is that a game issue? Like, I know the servers are bad, but
well,
is
the
there something
Well,
inherently
when your
bad
game
about the
runs off servers, then that's
so the
annoying.
signing in and authenticating part is their servers. You connecting to somebody is our problem. But it's also the game not doing that properly either. So there's still something in the game that's not allowing that peer-to-peer connection to work properly.
Which they should just get rid of.
They should, but the signing in and authenticating is them, entirely them. But yeah,
'Cause I know you were talking about specific bugs, like if you had a certain item piece on you and try to hand in a certain quest, it would crash your game.
yeah, so
that's
people
an
reporting
inherently game like a game issue, not a server issue.
yeah, the games I think the servers at their end aren't really the problem. I think it's
My problem is that they had a demo and you can literally pay. Like I saw this on the Angry Joe show, and he brought up a good point. He's like, there are literally ways to stress test your servers, and the fact that they're this dismal is not good enough nowadays.
I think if you're having a lot of sign-ins at once, then their servers might shit themselves. And normally when people crash, it seems like the whole world seems to crash at the same time, and everyone's trying to sign in at once, which is why you might get that to sign it in loop forever and ever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, dude. They patched it today or patched it yesterday, and more people, 80% of people are losing their inventory, more than it was before. So I ain't booting up, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I started the second character
haven't
today.
turned it back on yet.
I ain't with the current patch that they finally released. I'm not booting up if 80% of people are losing their gear. And apparently it also doesn't let them sign in with that character. They have to create a new one.
I do have a question about the game for everyone else. I don't know how into like the crafting side of things you are and building your layouts and whatever weapons and stuff, but the game's been out a week and they've already brought out a patch to nerf half the stuff in the game because there was so many YouTubers that were popping out with saying this build is unlimited ammo, this build is broken, this build is this, and the developers saw all of that, and within a week drop
A lot of
drop damage,
YouTubers.
drop bursts, drop
Doing
the boosts
everything.
and everything like that for all these things. And it's not a PvP game, so you should feel like you're a god in this game. That's what I get the sense of it. You should be able to go in there, rip and tear, and destroy
Mm.
everything around you, and keep moving. The game's about momentum. You want to kill as many things and keep moving.
You brought up a good point.
What do you think about games developers like this, where within a week of it coming out, they've already gone back on the game that they made and changed it?
Well, the game is a lot less interesting to me now. Like I've noticed even the last, because I'm a Trickster, and Trickster got one of
That's
the hardest
right.
nerfs. Yep.
Yep.
Trickster and Techno got absolutely cut. Everything got cut, even the cooldowns, everything. And I'm just having less fun. Like it was so. You're right. It was so fun. It's not like you're versing real life people. You're versing little characters. It was great going in there feeling like you could smash people, like god roll through stuff. I mean, you weren't even really god roll. I was still like getting slammed, but it was fun.
I was struggling a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I was having fun. I'm not having fun the last 2 days I've been playing. Like everything's just even the loot. I know they said they haven't touched loot. I swear to God, they have touched loot without telling people, because I used to roll through there, get like blues, but I get like quite a few purples as well. I'm not barely getting purples anymore.
They
I'm
did
barely
drop the
getting
rate at certain points of the game, but
Yeah.
overall, it feels
Like-
different. Like it feels like a game that they should have sat on for another 6 months before they said, "All right, you've had your fun. Let's change it a bit." But
Like Tone and I
Wow.
played for a solid 3 hours this morning, and I didn't get one item that was better than what I was already rolling in. Whereas
Wow.
last time, you're right, you would go on a mission, you'd be like, "Oh, I got stuff." You'd apply it, you'd go like update your skills with the doctor, then you'd go back in, get all this new loot. There'd be something better. You'd go improve it. You'd go back in. I'm wearing the same stuff I wore, like I collected maybe 2 or 3 nights ago.
Mhm.
You know, it's just not as fun anymore.
Brash
They've
is still
nerfed
wearing
all
his
the
bloody
funness out of
pre-order
it.
gear.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, are you really?
It's cool. I'm a biker. I look like a biker. It's awesome.
So cool.
And the good thing was, it's all blue gear. So when I got to like level 30, all I did was just use all my leather and shit, just upgraded it to the max or I could get it at the time, and then just upgraded it to purple.
I
And
don't
it
know.
became like high tier purple gear.
But I play a lot of Destiny, and there's a lot of things that are broken in that game, and they leave it for months on end. And that is a PvE game, and they're like, oh, like next update we'll fix it. Like next DLC that comes along, that's when we'll fix
Yeah.
it. Whereas Outriders just smashed it in like the
They
first
just
week. They
nerfed
said,
it into the ground. They've
Yeah,
nerfed it
man,
into the
it's
so
ground.
strange.
It's
I think-
weird that they went straight to nerfing before they even fixed it.
I was going to
Fix
say
the
they should be doing
Yeah.
nothing until the game is functional properly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Then look at balancing it out.
Legendaries aren't balanced. All mine sit in the stash. Like I've done nothing with any of them. I don't even use them because I always get them and they're worse than what I've already got. You know,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
the point of having legendaries when they're not very legendary? You know, they're
Well,
literally
I've
the
had
same as
2
blues for
Grim
me.
Arrows,
Huh?
2 legendary light machine guns.
Yep.
Like I got the Grim Arrow, I think just after when I first started playing the actual game, I got the Grim Arrow and it was scaled to my level, which I think was like 22 or something, or
Yep.
20. And then I kept that. No, sorry, it was about 17, 18. And then I got another Grim Arrow that was scaled to my new level, so then I could just destroy the old one.
Mhm.
But
Doubles
I think that's the case. Like everyone who's like, "Oh yeah, I've got early game legendaries." That's probably not what the point of the game is. Like you really want end game legendaries.
Yeah.
Mm.
They're useless throughout.
Yeah, because you might as well just destroy them.
I don't know.
I think
See,
it's-
I've played with. I haven't played solo at all the whole game. Like maybe like
hard.
1 or 2 missions by myself when I'm waiting for someone. But I've literally played with people the whole time, and it crashes. Like the amount of times, even in the what are the end game things, expeditions,
Expeditions.
even the expeditions. Two-Tone and I went through the whole expedition, and he crashed at the boss at the end, and I got slammed because I couldn't do it by myself.
I
Like,
think
the crashing is ridiculous.
we had one
Warning.
crash, didn't we? But we just finished the expedition. We went back to the camp and it crashed. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We just teleported back, and just as we were teleporting back,
Yeah.
it crashed.
I haven't looked into it, but when Cyberpunk came out, obviously it was really broken, like just for the game itself. Like that's a single player game, but there was a whole campaign that they started taking things off the store. How long do you think it's going to go before it gets to that point? If the game is really bad, if it starts deleting
No.
people's stuff, do you think they're going to pull it from stores like Sony did with like Cyberpunk, or start issuing refunds 4 weeks after people already bought the game?
I'm surprised 2 weeks on it hasn't happened. So
Yeah.
especially
That's why they're
if-
hauling us to
if-
fix stuff, I think.
I was going to say if they don't come out with a fix, that's the road they're going to have to go down.
They're offering a pack, which is like a in-game currency, which is like titanium and a free legendary for the people that got through the launch, and an emote called Frustration, which ironically does not work at the moment.
Oh my god, really?
So like, is that enough? But yeah, I just wonder if it gets worse and worse, people's stuff's getting deleted. When are they going to pull it from the stores? Or
Well,
if
I'm getting yeah.
look, I know these
I
sorts of
don't know.
things. I know these things can be hard to test too. You can't test this amount of people before launch. You just can't. So you're not going to know what's going to happen. So you got to give them a little bit of slack, and they do seem to be trying to fix it as quick as they can. But
I
mean,
think they were
yeah.
getting away with it, Fletch, because Cyberpunk you had to pay for, and most people are playing this free through the Game Pass. And I think I wrote this on Twitter. I'm like, don't at me because this is true. If this had been a paid game, people would be blowing up like Cyberpunk because it's free to most of us.
Yeah.
People are just going, eh.
and they
You know,
are.
'cause my Twitter feed is just people complaining about how the servers keep crashing. But it's such a good game, you know?
Oh, it is. I mean, it's
And it is.
not
It is
me.
a good
It's not
game.
me.
But
But
it is a
I'm
good.
interested in what
But
I'm
it is a
reading.
good game.
It's
That's
so
what I'm
good,
saying.
but I'm over the crashes,
Yep.
you know? And that's how I felt about Cyberpunk, but Cyberpunk got slammed. Because I played it on a Series X, so it was like I had maybe 1 or 2 crashes the whole time I was playing it.
I think they're smart in the time that they posted it, because what other game is there at the moment that everyone's playing? You know, like
There's
Every
literally
game,
nothing out.
Yeah.
everything that everyone's playing currently leading up to Outriders was something that was out for a while, or something that they picked up and thrown away. So people are willing to give it the time. If they released this in November when there was like a new Battlefield, Call of Duty, all these things, how quickly would that kill the game?
Yeah.
So
Well,
my
I
rating, I
wonder,
would
I
give
wonder
it
if they chose time over
6.
efficiency.
6 out of 10.
6.
Bobby said 5.
Well, I said 5. I didn't say any. I said 5. I would go 5 or 6 in its current
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
I think because of how
Just-
addictive this game can be, is why I gave it a 7, even with the issues. Without it, I still wouldn't put it too high though, because the stories.
The story is not great. Hey, like I'm
It's
not.
not.
I'm
It's
not the only one
it's
that thought that.
fun. It's fun because I've laughed more
Yeah.
than I've thought this is a
The
serious one. But
ending
there's
was
been,
so rushed.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Like,
been a couple moments of that I'm like, "Ooh, this is really cool." And other moments I'm just,
Do
Cringe.
people?
thought-
I don't really think a lot of people care that much about the story. They just want to get through the campaign so they can get to all the end game leveling up stuff. They
Yeah.
it's a big campaign though. Like
It is a
shocked
big
me, like,
campaign. It's took forever.
Yeah, like
Mm.
whereas just trying to compare like a looter shooter, like I don't think the Division or Destiny, even Anthem, their campaigns were over pretty quick and you got to the end game. Whereas this took me a while to get to the end game, so
And
that's why I give it a higher score, because it actually has something to do along the way.
But I was like really enjoying the story, and then because as Switch the 2, it's like funny as well. Like there's like comic moments in there, and then like the very end, there was like one little thing at the very end that I was just like, if it wasn't like that, the ending would have been a lot better. But yeah, like
What
the,
is it?
The reasoning. I don't know. Is it spoiler?
Spoilers.
It's
We get
spoiler
spoilers.
warning.
Yeah.
When they find out that it's the ship that exploded before they left that found its way there first, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
said it's because they're like, oh, we rebuilt it, made a better engine that's faster than your ship, and overtook you. It's like, no. The Earth was dying and about to be destroyed, and you somehow just created a better engine than the engine you just had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
was
just
annoyed
didn't-
that when
really
the
just didn't make
Avatar
sense.
wrote like the humans were the big baddies, like
I did like that.
how the,
But
the
I would-
aliens were
if-
the bad guys because of the humans. Like that annoyed me. I'm like, No.
It's,
No.
If they had like built a ship with some experimental sort of engine and it
Yep.
somehow created like a wormhole or accidental wormhole or something like and thrust them through space and they crash landed on the planet, I would have liked that a little bit better than just no, we just built a bit of engine.
Yeah. We're just
Yeah,
bailing you
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, like oh yeah, the world's about to blow up, but you know we had time to like invent a brand new engine that dwarfed the engine we just had. Like, yeah, didn't really make sense for me. Didn't make sense to me. That's all.
a quick
But other than
thought,
that, I did enjoy it.
a quick thought for the future of the game. Do you think this is a game where you would release an Outriders 2, or you think they would just keep building off this?
Roadmap to any DLC, which doesn't mean they're not going to bring DLC, but I think they were just like gauging the water to see how many people liked it. But I
Mhm.
reckon they'll go straight to Outriders 2. The story kind of leaves it open.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah, I
guess
reckon
that
they'll
depends
add
how
to
much
it.
they want to dedicate to fixing this game, or whether they're just going to be like, well, that launch sucked. Let's move to the next game.
Let's try again, guys.
Yeah.
Let's make a 4-player co-op instead. That would be awesome.
I think I said this to someone else. I reckon they stuck to 3 because 4 was even worse with connections. I think that was their
Yeah, that's
reasoning.
a good idea.
4 players try to connect to one host.
Yeah.
If they had their own servers, yeah, sure, great. Struggling with 3.
I reckon they might add to it
You reckon?
because currently,
they keep
like you've got a
building on it?
whole planet to explore, and it's only been like 1 point to another, and it's
Yeah.
not like that great of a distance. They've got the
Mhm.
whole rest of the planet to explore. They might, yeah, they might add onto it, and the next line of mission might be to explore out and try and find a way to subdue the anomalies like the natives have done for a bit or something. But,
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is that
And
just-
then
Look at
like, and you also got like you got the boss anomaly bloke that you fought once that killed Seth, what his name is, and then like you don't see him again. He was like for a long time leading up to be like the big bad anomaly
Yeah,
Yeah,
boss,
what
Stop
about...
chilling.
Yeah.
and like yeah, he
Seth.
just sort of disappeared, and then that was it. And you didn't see
Yeah,
him
but
till
there's
the
the
very
fire
end.
dude. The big fire dude's kind of like...
Yeah, and like you saw him at the end, and he's sitting there watching all the drop pods come down.
He's off barbecuing
So
people.
I reckon they'll
Yeah.
add on to the story
Talking
of
to
the
his friend
original
on his back.
of that game.
They got a lot they could add. They can add raids. They can add. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if they bring out like a 6-player like mode or something like that. Because Destiny's 3-player. Isn't Division 3-player as well?
Vision.
No,
Yeah.
3,
4.
4. You and 3
It
others.
is? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm just trying to compare it to
Or
any of the-
6 or 8 player. I think it's 6-player raids in that one. Or 8? No, I think it's
Well, that
8.
kinda
I think
leads-
Division's
it kinda
8
leads on
raids.
to our next point. We talked about Outriders going straight to Battle Pass, but there's rumors that Battlefield, the new Battlefield game's going to go straight to Game Pass. So we wanted to bring that up.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
isn't
fine.
EA Access part of Game Pass?
Well,
now?
EA Access is, yeah, but
That would be a
in these games,
massive
even
title.
with EA Access, EA games
that's
never
not
went
straight away.
They never went there. They gave you a 10-hour trial, but they
Yeah.
never put the game there. So
Mhm.
it's interesting that EA are putting stuff,
on the
or
Game Pass.
could be putting stuff straight to Games Pass.
That's rumored.
It'll happen. Well, I can't remember where it was rumored from, but it sounded pretty legit. It sounded
It's
like
not
this.
this year though, is it?
Yeah.
It's Battlefield.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. I'm pretty sure it's this year. Yeah.
That
That's
would be that's a huge move for Game Pass.
And
That's
it's
something that
and
big.
it's
Like,
meant to
Outriders
be-
big, but this is a known franchise.
It's meant to be based 2024, something like that. Near
just
future.
far enough to give
that
futuristic
future
stuff that doesn't
Battlefield?
exist.
So if you
What
liked
do you
Battlefield
want?
4, I think the leak was saying that you're gonna enjoy this one, hopefully.
I didn't realize it was going to be a futuristic one.
Well, it's sort of not that future, but yeah.
2024. Well, yeah, I suppose.
I don't know. Microsoft buying EA, what's happening?
Yeah.
I just find it's a big title to go to Games Pass. Battlefield. Can you imagine COD doing that? Far out.
Oh, mate.
It's like Microsoft's turning it to the Disney of the gaming world. They're just buying everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like Disney just owns everything. But isn't there laws that this some section or another. Like you can't have a monopoly. You can't
Monopolising.
own that much.
Can't monopolize
The
like a
market.
single
Yeah,
market. Yeah.
like
Well,
it's Xbox for a long time was the home of the shooters. You know what I mean? Call of Duty like contests, tournaments, and stuff like that were on Xbox for the longest time until Sony finally threw enough money at them for them to switch. So if
To
Call of
switch
Duty's still
sides,
doing
yeah.
it, yeah, because I don't know about the last one like Blackout, but the last 2 or 3 Call of Duties that came out had a Sony exclusive for a year or something. Didn't they?
Yeah,
Like
I think for the past 5, is it a 10-year or an 8-year? 5-year. It's a 5 or an 8-year contract generally. So the past 5 games at least have been
had something.
PlayStation.
So I mean, it makes sense for Microsoft to be like, all right, well, you have that. We'll go grab the next one. We'll grab
Yeah.
Battlefield.
There's also been rumors that
They
once
would do
that
that to
contract
us, but-
runs out, Microsoft are taking it back anyway. So
Well, they're throwing their money everywhere, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're like, "Well, you've had your good run with that. We're gonna have that back now."
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
Nice.
it kind of leads into our next point, which is about Sony
Mhm.
and Sony's new direction. The socials are ablaze with Sony's many kind of leaks and announcements this week. Does anyone
Mhm.
want to outline one of the first ones?
I think Brash, you mentioned the first batch of things. Talking about
So should we talk about losing the stores or
stores, digital libraries, concerns.
I'm not too concerned
Oh.
because I got PS5 now. Okay. I would
Living in the
would
future.
really like for them to come out with a sort of like
First of all,
old
what's
PS1
the
games, PS2 games, having like something on the PS5 store where you can't download them or anything like that, but you can just play them. So
Like
I reckon
stream
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. So you never own it or anything like that, but you can just play them. Because like if you want to go back to like PS1 games, PS2 games, like they take nothing to run.
True, the tiny ass.
Now, isn't that what PlayStation Now is, but not available here?
Yeah. So, sort of exactly. But I'm hoping they do it on a broader scale. But
Our internet is garbage here.
I don't know because so it's sort of leaving me a little bit confused. I'm not sure because they're getting rid of all the PS4 stores, PS3 stores. Then really, all those games are going to be lost unless you've got a hard copy and an old console.
But is it stores just means you can't purchase them again, but you can still, if you already own them, you can still play them? It's still digital. It's still digitally.
I own a few PS1
But it's still digitally signed to you, so you should still be able. I would assume you'd still be able to.
I think they're saying that if you want it, you have to have it downloaded. You can't re-download it. Whereas there's games on Xbox or PC or Steam, whatever.
That sucks.
You might buy them, but you don't have them installed. If it's not installed by the time they got, like these stores are gone, they're saying you might not be able to re-download it.
Play them.
Oh, that sucks then.
Yeah.
Even stuff
That's
you
what
paid
I'm
for.
hoping that
Wow, that's huge. That does suck.
Then you say, "Give me my money back." Then
I was looking into it a little bit as well to find out what they could mean with this stuff, and they said for games that even have a physical disc, if someone buys that disc after the fact and it required a day one update, like day one update or something like that, and they can't download the day one update, then the physical disc is useless as well. How are they going to handle that? Like that's pretty huge, but most Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5 games at this stage, when you're buying them, there's only 10% of the game on it. You still have to install or download the rest of the game. So I don't know how many PlayStation 3 games were like that, but I'm assuming the PS Vita and the PSP, most of that stuff, like PSP was mostly physical stuff, but PS Vita was leaning more towards digital.
So hang on, because I'm not up to speed with this. So what stores are they closing? I heard the Vita was closing down.
Yep. Well, the Vita and PSP share the same store.
So what else is closing down and when?
PS3, PS Vita, PSP, and they're all closing down in July.
PS3.
Mm-hmm. So if, for example, you bought Uncharted 3 on the PS3,
And you want
and
to
you
go
did,
back and do a bit of retroing.
and I don't know if there's a physical disc version of the DLCs, if there's and stuff like that. But yeah, if you bought the disc version of that, you can't download the DLCs. So people might have to go on spending sprees if they want to try and download all these DLCs and and stuff like that.
Oh my god, that just like bells in my ears. Like, because I used to play COD a lot on PS3,
Hmm
Black Ops 2, and I had all the DLCs and stuff downloaded on there.
Yeah, I just
Hidden in there.
recently downloaded all the DLC for one of the
I love
old
the
CODs on
PS3.
360, and it still let me download everything.
hmm
Might have been
That's
Black Ops
crazy.
1 even.
I think it's like crazy. Like I know we talk about like the fact that you buy a game, and when you buy it digitally, technically you're just buying the right to play it. Like there's still saying that there's the moral gray area of whether you don't actually own that property. Whether they're going to try and pull that card with the PS3 stuff, but it seems really weird that you just lock it off. I guess all the enthusiasts are going to be louder than everyone else, but how many people does it really affect at this stage for PS3, PS Vita? Like,
Honestly, I'd
Barely
just be more annoyed from the nostalgia sake.
mhm.
Because I own heaps of PlayStation 1 games and PlayStation 2 games, PlayStation 3 games, all of my older consoles.
Mhm.
But how often do I play them?
Never.
Once
Yeah.
every now and then,
You have them
maybe.
for the sake of hoarding them and saying, "Oh yeah, I've got them."
Exactly.
Yep.
I've
I
got
don't
them
play
for the
'em.
sake of having them, and that's purely it. The only ones like I sort of would really like to keep are like the old Final Fantasy games,
Yeah.
because they're the games I start gaming on.
You have a good
Really.
point though with the digital library thing. It's almost like as if you're just renting it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So was
renting
one
it
of our
purely
friends recently,
for the
like
game.
they downloaded a game and he paid for it. Might have even been Shane. Someone we know, Subby, who bought Call of Duty online, and then it came up saying they didn't own it, and he emailed them, and they said, "Well, no, now you're just gonna have to buy it and download it again." It's like I've already paid for it and bought it and downloaded it.
Yeah.
You know, and it won't come up. It keeps saying I don't own the game, even though I've bought and paid it.
The thing is, I just don't think it matters anymore. Like, I think Brashy just said it, or Fletcher, I can't remember which one said it, but even if you put the disc in and you need to download the game, you can't anyway, so it doesn't matter if you own it physically.
No, I'm just saying in general though. Like even nowadays, it's just digital feels like
That's
you
why I'm
don't own it
hoping
still.
they're gonna hopefully do the right thing and maybe consolidate it all into like how I think at one stage it was either the PS3 or the PS4. I think it was the PS3 had like a specific thing in their shop that was like I can't remember what they called it. They called it like Legacy or something like that.
Legacy,
And
yeah.
it had all of the older games, like PS1 games, PS2 games.
Mhm.
I'm hoping that they're trying to do is just maybe consolidate everything into one. So they're wiping everything, like all the old stores, and they're consolidating it all for the PS5 and possibly PS4.
That's probably what they'll do. They'll do like a retro angle on the PS5 store
Yeah.
eventually. Yeah,
Hopefully.
you'd hope.
But the thing is, the problem with that too is like half of the old games that like used to be able to get on the PS4, PS3, if your console set up for like the UK and Europe, you only get a certain amount, like certain games. If you're in America, you got certain games. If you're in Japan, you got certain games. So like Legend of Dragoon, I had to start
Regional stuff.
I had to start a new PlayStation account on one of my PlayStations and say I was in America just so I could download Legend of Dragoon.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I'm hoping they make. That's why I'm hoping they consolidate everything into one.
Well, they could be total butts and be like Nintendo and like have it out in a bundle, exclusive bundle, and then vault it.
Yeah.
Doesn't Nintendo put
Maybe
all their
they
old
do.
games into? If you subscribe to online, you can access all their NES, Super NES,
Not all of them.
well, most
They
of
just-
them, because they're still adding. They always add stuff to it.
They also take stuff out. They pretty
Yeah.
much try to give you a
That's
palette.
what they do with
like, to pick from.
Mario. They
Mm.
put the Mario's in a bundle of 3, and they said you have till March to buy it, and then discontinuing it.
I bought a
Gotta find
physical version
someone
of
with-
that because I want to make sure I have a physical one.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I gotta review it.
I don't know. I used my Vita right up until I got a Switch. I like the Vita. The Vita's got some good stuff on it.
But the thing is, Microsoft Store. See, I own games that I bought on the 360 online, and the Microsoft Store is just one universe. When it becomes available, that's a backward compatible download on the Series X or the Xbox One. I can just download that 360 game again. Whereas Sony is segregating, like they're two separate things. I said, why not just combine it? You know, you're closing a PS3 and the PS Vita store. Why don't you just make it a universal store so that if you own those games, you can play them on the PlayStation 5?
I think because PlayStation Now isn't here yet, we just don't. We're not aware of how it works. I think you'll find that it all will go into their Now catalog. Just that we can't use it here because it's not available. And that's because of our internet.
Well, that goes on to the next point. They want to bring the game franchise to the mobile.
Which is
Mobile.
PlayStation Now. It's the same as Xbox
Yeah.
Project. What's it called?
xCloud,
xCloud, whatever. It's the same thing. It's
Yep.
exactly the same thing. They just want to do it all in Now though, so you can go back to the old catalogs in Now. You can stream them from Now,
Yeah.
and they want to bring Now to mobile
Mobile.
devices, their TVs. You know, that's why I don't think in the near future you won't see another PlayStation console. It'll be all built into their Sony Bravia televisions as an app.
Mhm.
That's where it's all going. xCloud's the same.
You've heard it here first, folks.
xCloud's exactly the
We're
same.
not gonna have another
100% you'll just have an app in the future. You won't, no more hardware. It'll just stream it.
Mm-hmm.
They're already doing it.
TV.
They're already doing it, and it actually already
It's
works.
going in the PC way, and Sony going towards TV gaming.
Download the app, subscribe to Games Pass, boom, stream your games.
I know that. So I obviously wanted to look into Sony's history and developments and stuff like that. And Sony's always been able to do these things. Sony's always been the heavy hitter in gaming. So whatever they say, everyone
That's
just has
like, yeah, they are.
well, like they can do whatever they want, and
Yeah.
everyone would just
Yeah.
accept it, type thing. And there's like a lot of growing concern, or just growing from gamers in general. Sony still being like their own thing. They were the ones that didn't want to do cross-platform play. They didn't want to do this, and they always wanted to do their own thing and stuff like that. And I know they're moving their head office to America, and it's upsetting the Japanese market, which has been their home from the start. And Sony want to make it more viable. Like obviously, all their exclusives are starting to leak onto PC as well. So this like the streaming service makes sense of it, but yeah, I think there's a lot of cracks that are appearing in Sony's infrastructure in general.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether this shutting down the service thing is an American decision or like their head office in Japan. Seems like a lot of in-house fighting.
Well, they run out of money, Brashy. What's going on?
I don't know. Who knows? Maybe in the future it'll be X Station.
Oh,
Yeah,
look
that's
at
right.
forever the optimistic over there.
Oh,
Forever the
shit,
optimistic.
it'd be-
I'm also waiting for the announcement Microsoft buys Naughty Dog.
Oh, that'd be huge.
Then
Well,
what? Sony got
Oh my
nothing,
God, yeah,
bro.
can you imagine that? Holy crap.
Isn't Kojima isn't he in talks to make his next game an Xbox exclusive? I mean, like he's
I have seen that all over the internet.
holy
Xbox
crap.
and
that was-
Kojima's face together.
Yeah, I don't understand that
Crazy.
guy's games, but wow, he's just a master at what he does.
Can you imagine inside his head? Holy damn.
how his Metal Gear Solid, how future thinking that was, even with the praying mantis fight where to fight him you had to put your
Okay.
memory card into the second slot and
Mhm.
play with the second controller to actually fight him, or else he knows all your moves.
Or
Uh,
even the old guy, the old sniper dude, if you could push your clock forward, he dies from old age. Waiting for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Did you know that? That's
No.
crazy, hey?
yeah.
Yeah, one of the snipers in one of
You've
the
gone
games is a
find him,
really
he's sitting
old
there, and you
guy.
think he's asleep, but he's dead.
This is something we need in Red
Yeah.
Grave on because like that dude could talk for 3 days in a row about everything about Metal Gear and Kojima.
Yeah.
But that dude is a visionary because he made a game about a global pandemic where the people going out there were delivery boys. And then as soon as they get launched, they're like, oh, that's never going to happen. And 3 months later, COVID happens and everyone's stuck indoors due to a pandemic. And the only people out there braving the world are delivery men.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
that's it.
Pretty much. That's hilarious.
Delivering food all over the place.
I say Sony's had a bad year. Like PS5s went off chops. Like they're just making horrendous decisions. Like they're remaking The Last of Us, so they're recycling old content.
Shutting down new IPs. Oh,
Yeah.
not new IPs, but just continuations of Days Gone and even Uncharted.
Days Gone 2. Apparently they were building a roadmap to a new Uncharted game, and then they even put that on the shelf. So I have no idea what they're doing. You know, like a lot of the buzz is they're ignoring small developers and they're just churning out generic stuff they know is going to work for them. So how do you? Well, Brashy will be excited about Last of Us remake, but
Honestly, because I did buy the remake they did for the PS4.
That was a remaster, though, wasn't it?
PS5, the remaster, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
remaster,
this is
not
a remake.
remaster.
Does that mean it's going
Oh,
to
they're
be?
remaking it.
Well, that's
What
the
is the
word they're
remaster?
using. Remake,
yeah,
which is different than a remaster.
Yeah. Wow. Why?
They're probably going to remake it with.
They're remaking it. They'll do what they did with Tony Hawk. Completely same code, practically new game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Because especially if it's the first one.
First one.
Oh, the first one was really good.
I bet you.
It'll have to be the first one because the second one got too much hate on it.
And the second one, but if they're remaking one, but I think I don't think they should make any of them because they're all good. I like the second one as well, but hey,
I have a theory about Uncharted that they've cancelled the next Uncharted game, and then they're going to reboot it in about 2-3 years, and Tom Holland's going to be the star of all the games.
Yeah, yeah.
They're like,
Well,
"Look at the
that's
new
what
thing."
I reckon too.
Mm.
Well, Brashy was saying they're making the TV show, eh?
Yeah, they're making a movie for Tom Holland, Uncharted, and then they've got the Last of Us TV show.
Last of Us, yeah.
But I do have here. Where was it?
Shelving that. Brashy was talking before we started recording that he has a theory that they're shelving games and moving in a movie. Sony are going to focus more on movies now.
Going back to the movies, less games.
Well, Ghost of Tsushima is a Sony exclusive. Uncharted, Last of Us.
True. I didn't even think about that.
Where is it? Here we go. So, in the works currently, they've got Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City. That's going to be out on the 24th of November. The Uncharted movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Borderlands,
That's going to be a nightmare.
Carmen Sandiego,
Yeah,
which is going to be on Netflix. Untitled. So far, they've got an untitled Call of Duty film. Crossfire.
Crossfire. Isn't that a game as well?
2, The Division, Dragon's Lair, Firewatch, Five Nights at Freddy's, Gears of War, Ghost of Tsushima.
Is that Firewatch one with Angelina Jolie? I saw a trailer for that the other day. That actually looks cool. That looks rad. It started off really boring, like meh.
I played the Firewatch game.
No, it's not that. That's not what movie Angelina Jolie is not in Firewatch.
I don't know.
Is it a movie called They Want Me Dead or something?
It's not Firewatch, because Firewatch is about a dude that sits up on a tower.
That looks cool, but unrelated.
But it was a good game.
Yeah. So
I don't know if anyone's seen Detroit, but Detroit would make a really good TV series.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved that game. It got terrible reviews.
The Angelina Jolie one is Those Who Wish Me Dead. That's a Warner Brothers one.
Yeah, that looks good.
But yeah, if Firewatch is from the game I'm thinking of, called Firewatch. You're a guy who leaves the city to go sit in a tower, stay in a tower and watch for bushfires.
Yeah, that's what Angelina does in this movie.
And while he's there, he's talking to another person in a different tower, like a Sheila, and they start to get a connection.
Yeah, that's Firewatch.
And then you end up finding out that there's a dude that's living in the forest and he accidentally killed his son. his son died while he was out there, and yeah,
Mm.
it's actually it's a pretty good story. So if you haven't played Firewatch, you should check it out.
Well, that's an
Should be
impressive
pretty cheap
list of game movies. You know,
Mm.
maybe they are moving that direction. Maybe they're just putting all their.
I reckon they're branching out.
Didn't they made a Ratchet and Clank movie as well, didn't they?
Ah,
I don't know.
Like it was
Yeah,
it was
back in the
animated.
day, it was like
It was
animated,
fully animated
yeah.
to make it look like in the game, but I would love to see CGI movies like that made from game developed companies. Like you've got like Pixar and all that stuff that always do really good adaptations and stuff like that, but they don't do enough video game movies like that. Like I don't know
Animated
why.
animation.
Or the Kenna, the game coming out on PlayStation soon, which I
Mhm.
can't wait for. The people who made that game come from CGI for movies. They made like little CGI movies and stuff,
Yeah.
and they branched out and they made a game. So
I mean, like I think
They
that
couldn't
one of my
have done
favorite
much
video
fun.
game adaptations lately have been Castlevania on Netflix.
yeah, that was good.
That is good.
I
That's
really like that. Like I honestly don't know why. Like you're sitting on so many gold mines of stories that you could just make a cartoon
I
out
think
of.
they're
but-
afraid to do it though because they usually flop.
Yeah,
and a lot of resources go into animation more than live action.
yeah.
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 Lots of scenes and stills and stuff. I don't
But
know.
I mean, like
yeah,
Sony's
there's-
still
there's
got their
a-
claws in Spider-Man series as well, because even though that's a Marvel prop, like I don't even know how to classify that now. Like Sony and Marvel always go back and forth between that, but apparently that's not going to go to Disney Plus. The new Marvel, like new Spider-Man films, even though it's a Marvel character in the Marvel universe, it's still a Sony property. Like Sony are really holding on to that.
Mm. Yeah, well, I think, but then again, like out business sense, I can understand why they're holding on to it. But from an
Mhm.
outside perspective, it's like,
So confusing.
why? Like for outside perspective, like
Mhm.
it just doesn't look good.
Yep.
It doesn't make them look good.
Does anyone have anything they want to bring up before we wrap it up? Anyone got anything out there?
Nothing particular.
No.
All right, guys, that's it from us today. Thanks for listening. You can find us on all social media at MKAU Gaming. You can see our merch store in the links below. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.